Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see you. So, today we are going to be doing another true crime video. First, before we get into it, I just want to say something. So, true crime to me is actually quite scary because these things actually happened, and I don't know. Lately, I have been trying to tell these true crime stories in a different way. Because true crime is actually a very serious, scary topic. And if you know me, or if you don't know me, I am not a serious person. I'm very sarcastic, and I get scared really easy. So I've been trying to take these true crime stories and turning them from a serious, scary topic to kind of like a more upbeat, comedic tone. And I don't want you to think that I'm making fun of the victim or the story itself, because that is not what I'm doing. I'm more making fun of the crazy idiot or idiots that have committed these awful crimes and murders and stuff. And I try and tell the story different than other ASMR true crime channels because I don't want to be like everybody else, I am a very positive, sarcastic person. That's just who I am. And to be like negative and serious, that's just not me. Not really. So I'm sure if you've been watching my true crime videos, you've seen a change where I was very serious and reading the stories in a specific way, and now I'm kind of telling it like almost like a neighborhood gossip video, and there's this comedic undertone, I don't know. So I just wanted to say that because I don't want anybody to be offended by me making fun of the stories, because I'm not making fun of the story. The story's very serious, but I'm making fun of the idiots that have created the story, Anyway, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, because this is a good one. I've never heard of this before, but I'm sure you may have. That's another thing about true crime. I've always loved true crime, but I've always had to like watch it on TV or read it as long as my husband is home, because it's very scary, so it makes it easier for me to get into this stuff if I kind of make fun of it. You know what I mean? Not in an offensive way, but I find so many new insane stories, and it's fun for me. Anyway, okay, so today's true crime story is about Issei Sagawa. Did I say that right? Knowing me, I probably did not. But yeah, this story is just crazy. And I know I say that a lot, but I keep finding like really crazy stories. And this story, when I got to the end, I was like, wait, what? You'll see. Just wait to the end, because you're probably gonna say that too. Like, what? Okay, so let's get started. Issei Sagawa was born on April 29th, 1949 in Kobe, Japan, to extremely wealthy parents. His father was the president of Kurita Water Industries. I've never heard of that. Must be something big in Japan. Issei attended, I guess, fancy pants schools in Kamakura, and he claims it was as early as the first grade when he began to have cannibalistic desires after seeing a man's thigh. That's right, it's going to be one of those cases. And not only does this crazy kid want to eat people, well, as he gets older, his cravings turn towards women, but also, well, how do I put this? He really loved his dog. He didn't want to eat his dog or anything crazy like that. I mean, that's crazy. No. He just occasionally had sex with his dog. No big deal. What? Okay, so a few years go by, and Issei is now 24 years old, and he is attending university. After class one day, he sees a really tall, beautiful German woman, and he follows her home. Then he patiently waits until he is sure she is asleep. He then breaks into her apartment. Issei's plan was to eat this woman, but just a little bit. I mean, he wasn't planning on killing her, so he was just hungry, thinking about dinner, and just wanted to cut a little chunk off of her butt. Just a little bit, no big deal, right? But the woman woke up, and she pushed Issei to the ground and called the police. He was charged with attempted rape, and he was all like, okay, yeah, rape, yeah, that's what I was doing, rape, you got me. There was no way he was going to tell the police, yeah, I wasn't planning on raping her, I was planning on eating her. No way he was going to give them his real intentions. But this arrest was kind of like no big deal for him, because remember I said that he came from an extremely wealthy family? Yeah, his dad paid the woman a lot of money, and she dropped the charges. I just wonder how much money this woman sold out for. How much is this a lot of money? I wasn't able to find that number. I would like to know. Okay, so fast forward a few years. It's now 1977, and Issei is 27 years old. By this time, he has moved to France and is working on getting his PhD in literature. Later, he claims that during this time in Paris, almost every single night, he would bring home a prostitute and try and shoot them. Nice, but always froze and couldn't pull the trigger. It's like, sorry, my book's being weird. It's like every night, and none of those prostitutes said anything. Like, I understand that you're a prostitute, but yikes. Okay, so he always froze up, and he could never pull the trigger. That is until June 11th, 1981. Issei invited his classmate and friend, Renee Hardevelt, to his apartment for dinner. And she was going to help him translate some poetry for an assignment they had. Issei had other plans in mind. Obviously, he planned on eating her. He actually chose Renee for a very specific reason. She was very beautiful and very tall, about 5 feet 10 inches. Everything he believed that he lacked. He considered himself weak, ugly, and small. I mean, he was only 4 feet 9 inches, so I don't know about weak and ugly, but he was definitely small. Issei believed that by eating her, he would absorb her energy and characteristics. Where did he get this belief? Also, I don't think that's how it works. So, after Renee arrived, she began reading poetry at a desk with her back to Issei. Oh no. He then shot Renee in the neck with a rifle. The shock of what he had just done caused him to faint. Maybe he is weak. When he woke up, he realized that he could finally carry out his plan. So, step 1, obviously, have sex with the corpse. Step 2, go buy a butcher knife to cut her into manageable pieces. Why didn't he buy that before? I guess he didn't think his plan all the way through. Step 3, eat her breast and her face. Step 4, don't forget to take pictures of yourself eating Renee. Memories. Some of her he cooked. Some of her he ate raw. Gross. Whether it was cooked or raw, just gross. Like, who does that? Ugh. Step 5, put the leftovers in the fridge. But he wasn't expecting so many leftovers. Not everything could fit in his fridge. So he found 2 suitcases and put the rest in there. But you can't just be having body part suitcases laying around, right? So he took the 2 suitcases to a nearby lake and threw them in. Then he just walked away, free and clear, easy peasy, no big deal. Except for the fact that someone witnessed him do this and called the police. He was arrested 4 days later. Issei awaited trial for 2 years. Dun, da, da, da. Super rich daddy to the rescue. His daddy hires a top-tier lawyer who gets Issei declared legally insane. He was unfit to stand trial. So, the judge ordered him to be held indefinitely in a mental institution. Someone gets a hold of his story. I don't know if it was in the news or what, but they decide to write a book about Issei. And this creates a publicity problem for the French courts. For some reason, they don't like that. So they decide to deport him back to Japan. Once he's in Japan, they put him in a mental institution. But upon arriving in this mental institution, he underwent like psychological testing, like you would do when you go into a mental institution. He was found sane. What? How could this be? So, they contact the French courts. But the French courts had his records sealed and were not going to release it to the Japanese authorities. So, he is now sane, and they have no legal right to detain him. So Issei was like, okay, bye. And he checked himself out of the mental hospital on August 12th, 1986. He has been free ever since. What? What? Okay, so this guy kills his friend, rapes her corpse, eats her body, and then disposes of her remains. And because of a technicality, he's just out free and clear. What? This is just so crazy to me. And he has actually written several books about the murder he committed and what he experienced and stuff like that. Like, I cannot believe that this story is actually true. Like, what? This was obviously years ago. He's all old now, and I think his younger brother or something like that, takes care of him and stuff. But they have interviewed him, and he now claims that he regrets his obsession. And I'm like, what? Is it like just a one and done situation? Like, an obsession, like, I feel like it's not an obsession but more of a craving. But is like this obsession and craving gone now? You know what I mean? Like, once he had, I just don't believe that, because for years he obsessed or craved this thing, and then he actually got it, and then he was gonna save the leftovers so that he could continue eating her. Like, how is that obsession or craving just gone, you know? Anyway, so see what I mean? It's like, the story is crazy. It's insane. Or maybe it's not insane because he was declared sane. I have so many questions. Like, how did his lawyer get him declared insane? And then the psychological doctors in Japan, no, he's sane. Did his dad, mega rich super dad, come to the rescue and pay off these psychologists or psychiatrists or whatever? Like, I have more questions. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.